we will call the November 13, 2023 regular meeting of Peters Township Council to order. Mr. Lauer, can you call the roll, please?
I've not heard from Ms. Shanafeld. Dr. Carrasco? Here. Mr. Curtis?
Here.
Mr. Kozer?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Rose?
Here.
Mr. Steiger will not be here tonight.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the October 23rd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. 5-0. Mr. Lauer. Special reports, Mr. Lauer.
Yes.
Girl Scouts, where are they?
Yeah, they're not here yet, but the members of Girl Scout Troop 16483,
They're outside.
are they? You know what, when they get in, we'll go back to this.
Well, let's just skip that till they get in here, yeah.
Up.
Wait, maybe not, maybe so. Oh, no.
The Girl Scouts.
All right, then let's go on to
You want to go outside and
let's go on to Novel November then while we're
Yes.
waiting for the Girl
Oh,
Scouts.
Okay.
As a result of the efforts of the Library Foundation led by Mara Kelly and the Peters Township Library staff, Novel November this year was an incredible success. The author V.E. Schwab was there. There were about 400 people in attendance. Ms. Kelly's discussion with Ms. Schwab was not only entertaining but informative. This has become an annual event for the library, and next year's author, Patrick Radin Keefe, has already been selected. Like the other authors, he is a journalist and a writer of some renown. He's the author of a number of books, all of which have been on the New York Times bestsellers list. And next year's Novel November is scheduled for November 7th. So,
All right, now that the Girl Scouts have arrived, we will talk about Girl Scouts Troop 16483 Community Service Project.
and since they're here, perhaps they would like to tell us about their service project.
Why don't you stand up and...
Come on up to the microphone.
Come together, that makes it easier on each of us. So, come on up.
Go up to the front.
I don't think they went to the
Okay, each one of you tell us your name and then tell us about your
Closer to
project.
the
Can you go to the podiums?
Go to the microphone.
There you go.
There you go.
We don't bite.
Lift them up.
There you go. Now we got three on one side and one on the other. Okay,
We'll
whatever.
be in stereo.
All right, let's do two and two. Somebody start. What's your name?
My
Start
name
here.
is Karis Bartley. I'm Isabel Polcardia. My name is Zoe Rabakis. My name is Megan Hanna.
Okay. Now tell us all about your project, girls.
Well, we originally wanted to put in a bat box so we could help keep the bat population thriving in the Peters Township area.
Why do we want to keep the bat population thriving?
It's important. They're very important to our ecosystem, and they help plant trees and other things.
Good answer, thank you.
Do you like bats? You do? I don't know. I'm not real high on them. But I recognize how good they are at catching, is it mosquitoes?
You need one of the bugs.
So the girls actually constructed the bat box themselves, and with the help of the Public Works Department, they erected that bat box in Rolling Nose Park. And if you're going down East McMurray Road, if you look to the right, you can see their bat box that's there. So,
Well, thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. All right, next we'll move into audience comments. That's the portion of the meeting where anyone from the audience can speak for up to 5 minutes on a non-agenda item. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Seeing no one, we'll go into unfinished business, of which there is none, so we'll go into new business. First item is approval of an agreement to settle civil litigation between the Washington County Commissioners, the Washington County Controller, and Peters Township.
So apart from Peters Township, the current Washington County emergency radio communications system does not perform well. And as a result, emergency service providers throughout the county often cannot communicate with each other or the 911 dispatch center. This has not been the case in Peters Township, and that's because we own and maintain our own emergency radio system, with dispatching being performed by Washington County 911. The county, I think, is being commended to recognize that a problem exists with our radio's communication system and taking steps to correct that situation. The concern from the township is that the county's chosen course of action will not resolve that problem. In the case of Peters Township, if implemented, I believe the radio coverage would be less than what our current system provides. For that reason, I recommended to council that we seek an injunction that would have had the effect of halting progress on the implementation of the new radio system. As a result of that action, Mr. Smith and I were able to negotiate an agreement that will ensure that Peters Township can continue to operate its own emergency radio communication system, but it also improves the chances of success for the countywide system itself. So in the manager's report, there are 6 provisions in the court order. It takes each of the 3 parties to concur to implement that order. In part, what it says is that the township has the right to continue to operate its own system, and that regardless of the system that the County 911 chooses to implement, they will continue to dispatch Peters Township. It also guarantees that, in fact, there'll be compatibility between the system the county intends to create and that which we intend to maintain ourselves. And one of the things it does, because there was never a commitment for this, when the system is upgraded, it will be a digital system countywide, which means that all mobile and portable radios will not work. And what this agreement does is not only make sure that, in fact, the county provides Peters Township with the portable radios and mobile radios it needs to operate on a digital basis, it requires that they be provided to all emergency service providers in Washington County. And I think this is of critical importance when you get out to the smaller communities where you're being serviced by volunteer fire companies who really are not in the position to be spending anywhere between $3,500 and $4,000 per radio. And so I think this is a good thing for the entire county, not only Peters Township. The other thing, Washington County hired someone, VCOM Engineering, to provide consulting services to the county in terms of implementing this. But the way that was to be done was only on an as-needed basis. This requires that VCOM Engineering become an integral part of the implementation of the system so that someone who has qualifications to evaluate the progress of the vendor is in place to make sure that the performance measures inside of their contract are met. The county contractor was claiming late fees for the failure to pay in a on-time basis. This waives those fees and it orders the county controller to make the payment to MRA.
MRA was a named party in the lawsuit too.
So it's Mr. Smith and my recommendation, Peters Township Council authorize acceptance of the agreement to settle the civil litigation between the Washington County Commissioners, the Washington County Controller's Office, Peters Township, Northstar Bain, and MRA.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
No.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Lewis. Sorry.
I respect the fact that you worked hard to come up with this agreement and probably makes the agreement better than it ever would have been absent that effort. But given the process the county went through to develop this award and the fact that they are going with a vendor that has not successfully fulfilled its prior obligations under its previous thing, I'm going to vote no. I mean, I think we would have been better off to press this, to have the thing rebid and deal with the consequences.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay?
5-1, Mr. Lauer. Next item, authorization of the Peters Township Police Department to submit an application to the Pennsylvania Game Commission for the Sharpshooter Deer Management Program, and if approved, undertake the program.
We have Captain Brunetti here, and he can explain the program.
So this program was originally approved by the council at the time as a way to reduce the deer population in the township and thus reduce the vehicle accidents we were seeing. We've seen an upward trend in deer-related vehicle accidents. Beginning really in 2014, and we've talked about it at length. The many factors: the growing population, the increased traffic, the increase in development, just various factors. So, what we did the last 2 years, we implemented a sharpshooting program to supplement our already in place archery program. And in that time, the first year it was authorized, we removed 125 deer from the community. This past February, we removed 250 deer from the community in about 10 nights. It's conducted by 3 of our officers who are certified through the Game Commission to do that. So, again, I'm just here basically to answer any questions that anyone may have regarding the program in the past or moving forward.
How many deer were harvested through the archery program? Is it that 53?
Last year's program, well, the 2022-2023 program was the number, the last full season, it was 53. Right now we're at 41
So far.
at this point.
And so that would be on top of the 250?
The 41 deer we've taken our archers have taken this year, and then we would apply for hopefully 250 again.
And the deer-related vehicle accidents, is that actually involve a car hitting a deer or vice versa? Okay.
Yeah, so we
now keep track of that. We didn't in the past.
We've tracked it. We've changed some of our reporting standards to better ensure we're capturing all those numbers correctly.
Okay.
But last year, the last full year, 2022, in 21 we had 94 accidents, and those numbers have kind of been trending upwards, like I said, since back in like 14, 15. Last year we had 85, so it's the first year we've seen, it begin to reduce. So, and we said when we started, we're going to look at this. These programs year to year, and generally, and it takes about 5 years before you see that consistent. In looking at other communities, St. Clair and other places that have done this for longer periods of time.
Okay.
So 2021 with the 94 accidents, that did not include the culling that year?
No.
It did?
No.
It did not. So in the 1 year we've had it, there was a difference of nine motor vehicle accidents.
So we did culling in 2022, February of 2022,
Right.
and then again this February of 2023, the sharpshooting portion of the program.
Right, so the goal of this program is to reduce motor vehicle collisions, correct? Are there any other goals of this program?
Well, I think that's the primary goal, but I think the other aspect that people speak to is the amount of damage that's occurring to people's landscaping, and that as a result of the deer population. That's the other thing we're hearing.
So what's the cost per year for the program?
20-something, I think. Is it about right? 20 grand, 22
The
grand?
overwhelming majority of the cost is for processing the deer. I mean, we're on duty doing it while we're working, and that. But at that point, we're also available to back up the officers that are working and respond to calls and things like that.
I think when it was originally pitched, it was like 22 grand or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like a lot of money for a reduction of 9 accidents in a calendar year, but if you're saying it takes 5 years, what is the goal at that 5-year point? Like,
So-
what reductions?
So when we originally set it up, and the accidents are the best way to quantify whether it's working or not, right?
Sure.
So if you look around and you talk to some different people, Simmons Farm and some of the other local places, they're seeing a lot less damage from deer. So to Mr. Lauer's point, it's difficult for us to quantify that, but the property owners are supportive of it in that the damage is reduced to their property. So the goal when we first set it up was to get that number to around 65.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at this, it's pretty sporadic. I mean, in 2015, there was 89. And then you go to 84, 73, 87. I mean, it's not like it's going up. It's up and down. But, I mean, I'm not a big believer in this program, but I think that, you know, in my opinion, we should let it roll a couple years and see if it does have if it can get it down that far. Then we just have to tailor it, I think, to try to keep it at that level. But I don't know.
And that would be, I mean, if it's decided to keep it going, once it gets down to those levels, then, like Mr. Curie said, we can reduce the number of deer we're taking every year and just kind of make it a maintenance
And
thing.
we donate all the meat, right? Like I think I read someplace in the budget or something, we donated like 2 tons or
10,000 pounds last year.
10,000 pounds
Yeah.
to the, and where does that go?
It starts off in Washington County, but they had so much that it was down out as far as Uniontown.
So it goes to what,
other
food
places.
banks?
Food banks, yeah.
all over the food banks, yeah.
So I mean, you get that benefit out of
Well, the population of Peters Township is growing as well, so there's more cars on the road. So,
And there's less.
This would be a better as a percentage, really, to see
Yeah.
with how many percentage of cars on the road versus deer.
it. Well, I guess you could figure so many cars per household and do it that way. Maybe we should take a look at that next time. Like try to do some sort of a percentage. There's a lot of cars. I mean, you know, on any given day, there's a lot of cars going through there.
Now, I have to ask, what does a chart that's miscellaneous deer-related incidents?
So that's what we started tracking. Those are the deer stuck in fences, the
Oh,
deer
okay.
stuck in soccer nets.
All right.
We've had deer a few times a year now breaking through people's windows and coming into their house. People come home from vacation and find a deer dead in their basement, things like that. We've had all kinds of different incidents like that with deer.
Okay, I was curious as to what.
Yeah, it's just another way to, like I said, it's tough to kind of.
Because that number went down significantly from 2021 to 2022.
Yeah.
Of course, it went up, significantly from 2020 to 2021, went from 8 to 35 and then
Whoa.
back down to 20. So it's still significantly higher than it ever was before.
We probably have an audience comment.
I'm sure we do.
Sure we do.
I was waiting for you before we started the meeting.
I'm Joe McLaughlin. I'm probably here every time we talk about the deer thing. Just 2 questions. What is the actual cost we spend on this? I heard some discussion, but
It's around $20,000.
That's about right. That's my recollection.
and do we have a map of the area that shows where these hunts take place? And where they're successful more than another? Or?
Well, we have some tables that were provided to us.
I didn't see a map, but it would be nice to have a map.
It says Peterswood Park 16, Rolling Hills Park 11.
I mean, couldn't we put a map on the website to show where this is taking place?
Well, most of it's on private property.
Yeah,
I don't know that
yeah.
those people were interested in having their property noted.
I would think their neighbors might be, though.
Boy, we do have them. Isn't this little map where all those little dots, red dots, does that show where the deers were taken or not? Am I looking at something I'm not supposed to be looking at?
I don't even have a map. to
Yeah,
refer to, so.
I didn't even.
I just thought it might be nice for somebody that has a lives next to one of those areas at least have a heads up of what's going on. I understand that if it's done secretly, it makes it a lot easier,
I
but
think the red map is where there were
That should be the vehicle accidents.
vehicle accidents, yeah.
Well, don't we put signs up where the shooting's taking place? I thought we did, like, put notices up whenever,
No, I mean, to
This one is not
the point, a lot of our private property owners, I don't think would be big fans of that being out there.
But I mean,
So
how
could you
many-
put the map of where the accidents were recorded? That's page
I can't,
27 of the docket?
I can't from here, no.
Okay.
so could we get a map published that shows?
Those are, the maps are available, whether we want to put where the hunts are occurring. I'm not sure. I would agree with Jason. I don't think putting up addresses, in essence, for
Well,
private property
if
is
it
not a
happened
good
right-
idea. But let me finish. But if what you want to get is where the accidents occurred, we can put that up.
You know, one of the concerns I would have along those lines is that I don't want to be spending, taxpayer money to, call deer off of some massive farm.
Well,
Because
we're not.
chances are those deer aren't leaving that farm.
well, that's a whole other topic because we haven't even brought those numbers in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But, I mean,
We don't even look at those numbers that the farmers take. Simmons probably takes a couple hundred a year. They don't go into our equation.
well, they're not making much of a dent on that.
I know, but I mean, if you're going to get all the data that's correct, I just think anybody that I know if they shut next door to my house, I'd at least like to know it. I think that's only fair to anybody that lives in Township. And Mr. Cure, you're exactly right. If someone has one of our McMansions, as we're always referred to, and we're helping them keep their landscape alive, I don't really feel that bad for them. I think there are other ways to do that. I mean, I have a few raccoons that are bugging me. If they could help me out, I'd appreciate it. Everybody has to take care of their own
you
stuff.
could plant things that deer don't mess with either.
Well, if they get hungry enough, they pretty much eat everything.
Well, that's true.
All right. I would like to see a map. I think we've asked for that before, and I don't really buy into that it has to be that secret. I mean, there are a number of things that are done publicly that you have to, I mean, for example, in your program, you're supposed to advertise that everyone's supposed to stop feeding deer during that period, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I know we didn't do that last year. There are a number of things that the Game Commission requires that I don't believe we've adhered to 100%.
So if I could address that, the Game Commission, we've talked to the Game Commission about that. We don't have an ordinance banning feeding, but the Game Commission basically says that if there's feeding taking place in an area we are shooting that's affecting our ability to draw deer to a safe area, that's when it needs addressed. We have not had that issue.
No, but I mean, a simple
So we've
notice on the
addressed that.
website would help.
And we did put it on the website, but
Only after I asked.
it is a Game Commission requirement, and we've addressed that every year with the Game Commission. So that's being taken care of.
I mean, to his point, though, I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't want to say, we're going to be, culling deer on.
Well, you don't have to say where you're at that night. You just say, this is where we're at in the township. Who knows what night they're there?
Right. I mean, maybe we could do something like that.
Well, I don't have a problem giving general areas. I would
I
personally.
mean, I'm not asking if it'd be like a DUI checkpoint, from, on this date to Peterson, they're going to be on this road from this time to that time. But, I mean, I think it might be a good idea if we're in an area to maybe make that public.
Yeah, I mean, my
It's
concern.
not individual.
And I think it would help the public know, okay, if I look at the accident thing and I say these thoughts, and I say, okay, the accidents are happening there, but the map doesn't show me that they're hunting in that area, or they're shooting more deer in an area where there aren't accidents, I'd like to have that information.
Yeah, see, my concern, though, is we publicize the locations. If you have people who are against this hunt, they may show up and attempt to disrupt.
I think I'm
That's
the
exactly-
person against the hunt.
That's exactly. And you sound disruptive.
But I think it would be helpful. I think it really would be. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, there's nobody else in the audience, so does anybody want to make a motion?
Well, I just want to point out one thing. It's my recommendation, because this was a concern last year, that you authorize the application, and in doing so, grant approval to undertake the program, because last year, one of the things that we were criticized for is that you authorized the application, but we assumed that meant that you could undertake the program. I just want to point out, because Mr. Steigel's not here tonight, he had sent in a email that was forwarded to me that says he'd like to see the permit authorization only at this time and hold off on the green light for the call until we get numbers on the collisions and kills from the Archers program. So I just wanted you to know that before you make a motion. The thing that I will point out to you that has been pointed out to me by the police department is that if we make application for this and then later decide after the application's been approved that we're not going to go ahead with this program, it's going to make it very difficult to make application in the following year. But we can get that I think actually that information's in your report, but we can get that information and present it to Mr. Steigel when he's here.
Yeah,
if you want to do this in 2 steps.
I think we should do it that way. You can have the information for the next meeting, right?
I would think so. If not, we're going to see a lot of the police back on December 11th, and we can present that at that time as well.
All right, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we authorize the Peters Township Police Department to submit an application to the Pennsylvania Game Commission for the Sharpshooter Deer Management Program.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. 6-0, Mr. Lauer. Next item, resolution amending the Peters Township Police Policy Manual.
Captain Ford, here. Taking questions.
The second one, right? So we know if
Captain Ford, how are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. Floor is yours.
All right. So every year, the Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission updates their standards. Sometimes it's just based on a word that might need change. Sometimes it's based on a legal mandate or change in the law, and sometimes they want to change the standard within the commission for whatever reason. So these 8 policies here are being revised. 6 of them are based on a change in standard for PLEAC, and 2 of them are new policies that we needed. The 2 new policies, one is for the ABLE program, which is the Active Bystandership and Law Enforcement Program. Started at Georgetown University. We've been training our officers to intervene if they feel that one of the officers is getting upset, maybe is in a crisis or something, intervening before there's harm done, either to themselves, someone else, another officer, or a member of the public. So they've all gone through the initial training, and we just went through one updates training so far. We have another one scheduled early next year. And then the other new policy is the Death in Custody Reporting Act. It's a new standard for the commission. If we have a death of an individual while they're in our custody, we have to report it to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. The other policies, there's nothing, there's no change in philosophy or anything. It's just a change either in the state statute or something that the commission wanted to change. I can go through them all if you'd like. Or it's up to you.
We have a table, but I think.
Yeah, we have a table here. So.
Yeah.
Plus, we had the actual written changes.
So you don't need to go through all of them.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to make the resolution that the council adopt resolution number 110123, amending the Peters Township Police Policy Manual as submitted.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. 6-0, Mr. Lauer. Thank you, Captain Ford. Next is award of a contract under CoStars for the Pennsylvania Cooperative Purchasing Program for gasoline and diesel fuel.
So for the past 11 years, Peters Township has purchased regular unleaded gas and diesel fuel from Glassmaker Fuel Service. They have provided a bid under the CoStars program for fuels. The way that bid works is that it's a incremental price over a index that's established for Pittsburgh. for both gasoline and diesel fuel. And it's my recommendation that Peters Township Council award a contract for the purchase of gasoline and diesel to Glassbeer Fuels under the CoStar's Cooperative Purchasing Program.
I'll make a motion that we award a contract for the purchase of gasoline and diesel to Glassmere Fuel Services under the CoStar's Cooperative Purchasing Program.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. 6-0, Mr. Lauer. Next item, acceptance of stormwater ponds in the Tuscany Plan of Lots.
So the developer of the Tuscany Plan of Lots has received his notice of termination for the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit that's issued by the Washington County Conservation District. In addition to that, the developers supplied the township with as-built plans for stormwater management facilities and provided the township with a deed of dedication for the parcels on which they're located. So therefore, all the requirements for the facilities to be accepted as a public improvement have been met. It's my recommendation that council adopt resolution 11-223 accepting the Tuscany Plan of Lot stormwater management facilities located on parcel A and B as part of the township's stormwater system.
So moved. Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
I'm going to abstain.
501, Mr. Lauer. Next item, ordinance setting fees for the collection and disposal of solid waste commencing in 2024.
On July 23rd, 2023, the Township Council awarded a 5-year contract to Waste Management for the collection and disposal of solid waste. As indicated at that time, the rates charged by Waste Management for this service to the township increased tremendously. In addition, there are new limitations on the collection, such as a restriction to 1 cart per pickup. And while this is frustrating, it's a local reflection of changes that are occurring in the waste industry nationally. As a result of the new contract, it will be necessary to increase the rates for curbside service from $70 to $100 per quarter. In addition, the rates for rear yard collection from $88 to $150. Mr. Jaworski and I anticipate that these rate increases, if enacted, will be such that it will carry us through the entire length of the contract. It's important to understand that we need to adopt these as soon as possible so that they can be placed into effect on January 1st of 2024. And it's my recommendation that council adopt Ordinance 895, amending Chapter 195, Article 6 of the Peters Township Code of Ordinance titled Solid Waste Collection Fees.
So Paul, one question, just so it goes from 70 to 100, and then if you want a second cart on this handout, that's $110 paid one time and not quarterly
No,
as well?
actually it's $110 paid annually, and it's paid directly to Waste Management.
So it's extra $110 for the year for the second.
$110 for the year.
It's fine. Okay. All right.
And they're only picking up what's in those containers.
All materials need to be in the container. And so one of the reasons that we want to keep in place the cardboard compactor and the glass recycling is that it's only one container for recycling as well. So if Christmas arrives in Peters Township with all those cardboard boxes from Amazon, there's going to need to be some place to be able to take them, and that's what that compactor will be able to do. So.
And what's the location of that?
It's right next to Fire Station number 1.
And are we planning to keep the glass container up there too?
Yes.
Even though we'll be able to recycle glass now,
yes.
Right?
And how are we going to give the residents notice of all these changes?
Well, that was actually one of the things I wanted to discuss, a couple things. One, we have 40 individuals in town who have told us that they cannot use the carts. And up to this point, Waste Management has been willing to pick up those bags. They probably will not do that beginning January 1st. So we're going to be sending letters to each of those people explaining to them that they must use the carts that have been provided, and also informing them that for that higher fee that they can actually have rear yard collection. We're going to be sending out letters to everybody who currently is rear yard collector. There's only about 30 people with that, and letting them know what that rate change is since it's so substantial. That information that's on your thing, that is a page to appear in the magazine that's coming out in December. And my question to you is, in addition to that, do you want to send that same information out through the mail in an envelope to everyone so that they're in fact are informed about what's happening there? To do so is going to cost somewhere between $5,500 and $6,000.
Can it be done with the first bill that goes out?
That's what I was saying.
What's that?
Can we include it in the
Well,
bill?
First bill.
Yeah, I'm going to say the first bill that goes out doesn't have the ability to include a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in with it.
Well, maybe
We
we
get
could.
the highlights?
Maybe we could, don't we have that email system where we have all those people that?
If you've signed up for it, we will send this out as an email
That
blast.
won't cost us
That doesn't cost you anything.
just nothing.
Yeah.
Well, wait, the bills come in a regular envelope now. Are they not going to do that anymore?
But, yeah, they do, but the problem is getting the insert, because Jordan Tax Service would have to do that. I can talk to them about the possibility of including an insert, but I don't know if they can do it.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
sure
with
they
Bob.
could.
Why you got the bill for the $100 to have the backup? It'd be
Complaining
easy.
what the apple is that you're biting into.
Yeah, see if Jordan will do that.
Okay, I'll ask.
I still think you got to give them advance notice because, you know, what if somebody like puts out a lot of garbage and then the first bill comes and they're not picking up their garbage because they got bags sitting on the lawn and they're going to say, what the hell is this?
Oh, I can guarantee you, no matter how much we attempt to notify people, we are going to live with that for the first month. People,
Well, particularly because it's the worst time of the year because
Yeah.
everybody's throwing out the
Yeah.
remnants of their Christmas celebrations. And
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. Christmas tree. That's not going to fit in my garbage can.
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know the answer to that question
No, I
yet.
didn't think about
Well, there's...
I mean, I take ours to the park,
it.
but anyway.
The first week of each month, first full week of each month, there's bulk pickup, and so you could leave your Christmas tree out and it would be taken with that.
Yeah, you're right. It does say that here.
Yeah. So you're going to want to take your Christmas tree down right after New Year's.
or wait till February, whichever.
2 bulk items per month, first full week of the month.
First full week of the month.
Okay.
Is it on the website, Paul? People,
It's already, that information's all on the website now. And like I say, that's an entire page in the magazine.
Why don't we get a live tree in
Yeah.
there?
So I will check with Jordan. If in fact they cannot do it, do you want to do a separate mailing or not?
I don't want to spend $5,500.
can you do that email
I think
system?
we could do
Well,
the
we
email
could
one
do that
thing and
already.
then post it around the
You can put it on-
board.
It's going to be in the magazine.
Website.
Yeah.
Put it on the
But it's on the
Website.
website. It will be an email
Facebook.
blast and
Can we also post it in the different places in the township? You put the zoning.
we don't post any longer. It's not required.
realize that.
And no one knows to look at those.
Well, we have to have a motion here. We haven't done that.
I'll make a motion. We adopt ordinance number 895, amending chapter 195, article 6 of the Peters Township Code of Ordinance titled Solid Waste Collection Fees.
And I'll second it, but I have a follow-on question that we also discussed before we put this onto the agenda. And that is the people that are not paying this type fee in the, current status. I can only expect that to become more significant.
I would, even if there were no more, it will go up by a considerable amount because of the amount of the billing goes.
So we had talked about posting the names of those delinquent accounts.
And that's up to council. I turn to the solicitor. Certainly when we lien those properties.
Oh, that's not.
No, but what I'm saying is there's a time to do it because all those names are available.
I don't have any objection to publishing it. Does anybody
I
else?
mean, when we go to lien,
I think you should wait to lien, because, I mean,
Right.
if somebody misses for a few months or,
well, it's a public record too, so you're only republishing what's of record.
right.
Yeah.
That'd be less likely to expose you to any kind of thing. And if it starts building up, I think we have to
Move on.
start leaning, I don't know what the current practice is. You said it.
It's like 6 quarters.
Yeah, we might have to make it shorter, because it's not fair to the other residents that if we have to take care of that.
Oh, I'm not saying that we would reduce the rate tremendously, but it does make the rate a little bit higher because you're covering.
Yeah, you figure $30 more
Where
a
is
quarter.
that list published right now?
It's not published. There's a, once a year we lien for
It's in the,
liquid garbage bills.
It's in our docket, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, we get it in the docket. It's in the docket sometimes. It'll show people that owe.
I know, I see it sometimes, but I don't see it all the time.
We don't get it all the time.
You get it once a year, is what you say.
Yeah, but now that the rate's going up significantly, we shouldn't wait 6 quarters to
No, I
lean.
think it should be
Has Jordan
something.
moved on any of those liens, Paul? Or are they
Oh,
just-
yeah, yes.
Why 6 quarters? Is that like a standard?
No, the reason was, when the garbage bill started, you were at $50. It was like $50 a quarter. And so now, there's a lot of expense associated with and a lot of effort leaning a property. So it has to be something that is reasonable. It is not uncommon, even at the rates we're charging now, that the fees associated with attempting to collect it are more than the bill that's owed.
Yeah.
And John, you don't think we could just publish that in public places so that we know who's not paying?
Well, I think,
Scarlet letter.
again, once we get it to the lien status, yes, because I agree with Mr. Arcuri, at least it's a public record. We record a lien against their property. You can put it as an agenda item, put it on your website, put it up on this board. And, to the extent that you want to go to the Observer or somewhere like that, we'd have to look at that to see where do you want to publish it. You want to do it in the magazine?
You want to put it on a
Outside the
billboard in
door.
Peterswood Park, yeah.
Like the lobby, the municipal building?
There we go.
The rec center?
The rec center, right. Every school, yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, we can look and see if there's anything objectionable, but I think once it's a lien, that's just up to you as to location.
Well, it just astounds me every year the number of people who don't pay their garbage bill. It's mind-boggling, honestly.
Send it to me, I'll start contacting some people so they are publicly humiliated.
What's the current process?
Do we have a fire hydrant one too?
How many times are people notified throughout the 6 quarters?
Well, you're getting a bill every quarter, but when you go
I
to
understand that. So
when you go to get your property liened, you're getting notices, and there's a certified letters that are coming out with it.
So I guess my question is, in those between time 0 and the 6th quarter no payments, do we notify them any other time in between?
Every quarter you're getting a bill that shows
No, I
you.
But it's not like
another letter saying you haven't.
Your
paid
delinquent
bill.
letter.
Right.
Oh,
I understand
I-
you get a bill every quarter, but do we send anything else during that 18 months to tell someone you haven't paid your bill? Do it now or you're going to get lien.
Well, I don't think that occurs until such point in time you get ready to lien.
Okay, so the answer is no. We don't.
No, I
So we don't notify anyone.
Jordan Tax Service does not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jordan's
other than the
doing
bill.
it, so.
But would they post the unpaid balance from prior to
Yes.
the news? Yeah, so that,
Right, so when you get so if you don't pay 1 quarter, you get your bill the next time, it's going to show that you owe twice the amount.
And then is there a fee on top of that, twice the amount plus a
There's
lien?
penalties.
There's piece, yeah.
And all that cost of collection gets added on to the lien, for the most part.
Oh, it all gets added onto the
Yeah.
lien.
Right, so if you don't.
And you eventually get the money, but it could be 10 years from now when the person sells their house.
What's funny, just as an aside, in Cecil, we have a new trash hauler, and they did send letters out saying that people didn't pay, and there was this scandal, they forgot to send the bills.
I read that in the OR.
And so, it kind of backfired.
What are you talking about?
the other topic that we haven't introduced in this motion is the fact that a lot of our senior citizens take advantage of a discount.
There's a 10% discount if a household has somebody who's 65 or older. We also provide for people who are low income, and low income's defined as qualifying for the property tax and rent rebate program. We provide subsidies for people who are low income.
And where is that in this ordinance that we are adopting?
Well, that is just a matter of policy, and this this rate reflects the fact that there's a cost to those programs, and at that rate, we're funding those programs.
Is it some percentage of the bill?
It's 10% of the bill for senior citizens. And at the time when it was enacted, the thought was, and this is kind of because the service is exactly the same now, maybe that rationale is gone, but the rationale at the time was that senior citizens, because there's a limited number of people in the household, would have less garbage, and so therefore shouldn't be paying the same bill. The problem with it is now, everybody's getting the same service because you're all getting one cart picked up, regardless of the amount of waste that's in that cart. So,
I wonder if we should take a look at that and maybe modify it a little bit, like, I don't know, make some upper limit, like, because, you know, if you think about it, I mean, next contract, it could cost us twice as much as to cover their end than we are now. I mean, maybe there should be a cap on the amount.
that's up to council.
Well, there's a lot of senior citizens that don't take benefit of the discounts.
And that's true, too.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. 6-0, Mr. Lauer. Next item.
The next item is related, and it's reflects on the contract we have with Jordan Tax Service to do the collection. They've been collecting garbage bills for us for the past 20 years, and they've done so under a contract that provides for a percentage of the fee that's being collected, and currently that percentage is 1.8. What I pointed out to Jordan Tax Service was that just simply because the cost of garbage collection was going up, that didn't mean the cost of billing was going up. And we sat down and negotiated a reduction in their percentage from 1.8 to 1.58. And to put that in context, that same fee, if Waste Management was doing your billing, would be $6 a quarter versus $1.58 a quarter. So it's my recommendation that council enter into a 5-year contract with Jordan Tax Service for billing related to the collection and disposal of solid waste. The thing that I will tell you, at a future date, you're going to get an update to the ordinance related to delinquent collection to bring it in line with their current fees. So.
I'll make a motion to enter a 5-year contract with Jordan Tax Services for billing services related to the collection and disposal of solid waste.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. 6-0, Mr. Lauer. Payroll and Bills, Dr. Borosco.
Yes, I have reviewed payroll and bills, all in good standing order. Make a motion to approve.
I second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. 6-0, Mr. Lauer. Anyone want to discuss the various committee, board, and authority minutes? We may have a perfect year this year. No one asks to discuss any of these at any meeting the entire year. Miscellaneous, zoning hearing board report, Mr. Lauer.
Turn to Jim.
No hearings for the last couple of months, but they will be finally meeting next Tuesday. Just a variance to encroach on a setback. It's
That's
legal
kind of a
notice.
substantial encroachment. It's 11 feet.
It is, and
out of
quite
15 feet.
It is, and quite frankly, I haven't had a chance to review all materials yet to give our staff opinion yet.
Where's the property at?
331 Pleasant Avenue.
They want to construct a roofed porch, and they need the 15 side yard. They got to encroach 11 feet onto the 15-foot side yard.
That's a no.
That's a little too much.
Are we allowed to make a recommendation?
So councils can take a position on any of the things that are from the zoning hearing board.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that the township take the position, or whoever, that this not be, the variance not be granted. I mean, if it's their hardship, they want to build this. They're creating the hardship.
Well, and they bought the house knowing
that, yeah,
you know, knowing where the
It's much
setbacks were.
simpler to simply say, the variance request be denied.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever he said.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. 6-0, Mr. Lauer, Peters Township Board membership.
In the
Mrs. Merrill
packet,
would be
there was a
great.
list of positions that are open. One of the things it's up to you. We have a free date on December 4th. Do you want to begin the process of interviewing people for the Planning Commission and the Youth Commission?
Reluctantly, but that's still, a no.
I don't have anything going on that night, but I don't know how the rest of you feel. I mean, we can wait till after the new year if everyone would prefer that. Because, I mean, none of these are positions that the boards can't function without a new member the first meeting of the next year, right?
Don't let me.
That would be
discourage you
correct,
about
but if we wait till and again, you can do whatever you want. We have the reorganization meeting.
I cannot make that.
First Tuesday of the month. That means that at the earliest, you would be appointing on the fourth Monday of the month. Then we would have to have meetings in January to do the interviews.
All right, you want to meet on, what is it, December?
December 4th.
What the hell?
Allison and I can all be there that night.
I can't be there at all.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is, but
I don't want to conduct all these interviews without you two.
We can wait.
Get that Christmas spirit ball.
We can wait till January.
Yeah, I think we should wait till January.
Let's just wait.
The other two things under miscellaneous that are not on the agenda is the roundabout is set to open. The only reason it isn't open right now is it has to be lit before the roundabout can be used. They have put up temporary lighting. They're just waiting for that to be energized. What eventually will happen is that those telephone poles and that standard street lighting will be replaced with decorative poles. So
when will it open?
it could be opening by the end of the week. It's truly just the West Bend energizing the system. The other item that we let council know about is that we've prevailed in the Commonwealth Court case on Manor Way, so I guess we're going to wait for 30 days to find out whether it's being appealed past Commonwealth Court.
So I think they will. I'd be shocked if they don't. They brought it this far. So wouldn't they take a shot and see if the Supreme Court will take the case?
I guess we'll find out.
I don't see the novel issue, but I'm sure for a delay tactic.
Oh yeah, I mean,
That's the only reason they would be doing
I
it.
don't think the Supreme Court takes the case, but if they file for aliquot, it'll take the Supreme Court 9 months to make a decision.
Yep, I agree.
All right, anything anybody wants to see on the next agenda?
I have something I'd like to talk about, not necessarily on the agenda, it won't take very long, but, I read something somewhere in the last week or two, and it might have been something that somebody emailed to all of us about unclaimed property, at the treasury level, and these municipalities and things. So just for the hell of it, over the weekend, I went on the site and I typed in Peters Township, and lo and behold,
we have unclaimed
there's
property.
5 pages of stuff there, not only the township or the sanitary authority, but there was some sports associations. I don't remember which ones. I think I want to say baseball and basketball, but I'm not sure. But there were some sports associations, the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, there was a lot on there. I was very surprised.
Mr. Govette's working on that.
There you go. I knew I read it someplace. Did you send it to me, or
I don't
did
believe
read it
so, but we submitted our request to receive all of our unclaimed property. As an aside, as I was doing it for the township, I also did it for myself and received a $4.65 check from Comcast when I lived in Swissvale. So the money will be here shortly.
So my 30% collection fee for telling you. Well, that's the only thing. I mean, I was surprised at how much was there.
With our state administrations, we send it as a matter of course now. Almost always we find something.
Yeah. I mean, I just typed in Peters Township. I mean, I try not to be as specific, and like I said, there were like 5 pages of this stuff. But but these somebody needs to tell the associations that, I don't remember which ones they are, but I mean, it might only be $50, but it's $50 is $50.
I'm not as pleasant with my comment. I'm just going to pick on Saturday night. I drove from here over to 88 in Library. 3 people failed to stop at a stop sign in front of me, coming from some other direction. Somebody passed me on the double line on Sugar Camp and proceeded to turn at another traffic light where it has a big sign that says no turn on red. That was just in a matter of about a 25-minute trip from here over to. I know there are neighbors, but God damn it, it's enough to piss me off as to the disregard we have for speed limits on our local streets. I don't know what we can do about it, but
It's an ongoing problem, and I don't see it getting any better.
no. Well, it's actually what.
And we always talk about, putting up more stop signs. And
That's not the answer.
people blow through them, so
I get this all the time, requests for signs and things like that, and I say, we can put signs up, but if you think anybody's reading those signs and following those signs, that's.
Well, it's like in my neighborhood, when we had that targeted enforcement by the police department 2 years ago, traffic on Johnston Road actually slowed down for about 6 weeks. Then after that, everything went back to the way it was before.
Right. And I think that's my focus, that I don't know that I see enough vigilance on the police department to
You
curtail.
had your chance, they were here.
Well, not the right guy. If Doug had been here, I would have brought it up.
All right, is there anything anybody wants to see on the next agenda? We have an executive session.
Short one.
We're adjourned.